further ado, without any further ado, I would like to officially open this final project examination by saying basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah. Okay, Bu Yuni and Bu Kris, Bu Puji, would you like to have her presentation first?
Yeah, thank you, Bu Alif. For me, I think that we can go directly to the Q&A session. Thank you, Bu Alif.
Yeah,
What
okay,
about
thank you.
Bu?
Bu Kris?
The same like Uni.
Yeah, okay. So now I would like to invite the first examiner, Ibu Dr. Sri Wahyuni, to have her chance to ask some questions. Time is yours, Bu Yuni.
All right, thank you very much, Bu Alif, for the time given to me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, mohon izin yang saya hormati Ibu Alif, selaku Sekretaris Panitia Ujian, untuk Mbak Firda, Ibu Puji selaku dosen pembimbing, Bu Kris selaku dosen penguji. Ya, Mbak Firda, so firstly, allow me to congratulate you on the completion of this final project. Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the title of your final project, Mbak Firda?
So my final project is under the title Teachers Belief on learning language, learning motivation and its impact on teaching strategies and enjoyment.
Okay, so in this study, you explore about the students' motivation, and then you try to relate the impact of students' motivations on teachers' choices of teaching strategies and their enjoyment. Okay. Why do you think that this is important to study?
Okay, before that, thank you for the question, ma'am. So the reason why I think that this study is important is because I think that teacher belief is an important aspect on how they will develop their strategies, and also later this belief on students' motivation is also impactful on their enjoyment in teaching. So when they think that students' motivation is high, for example, their enjoyment is also high based on my study.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Sebentar, Bu, saya harus pindah tempat. Okay, thank you for the answer, Firda. Next is that, so in this research, you involve three variables, right? It is about students' motivations, and then teachers' strategies and enjoyment. Is it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what about the theoretical lens that you use to approach this research?
All right, ma'am. Thank you again for the question. So for the theory, when examining about teachers' belief, I use the theory of behavioral motivation. So in this theory, I ask the teacher how they perceive or believe about students' motivation based on the students' behavior in the class. And also, I use self-determination theory by DC and Ryan in 2000. In the interview question, I asked about how they provide self-determination to the students so that the students' motivation is high based on the provision of self-determination. And for the teaching strategies, I use theory by the theory by Dorney and Cheng about motivational teaching strategies. So in the interview, I asked about strategies that teacher use and match the strategies that they mention with Dorney's motivational teaching strategies.
What about teachers' enjoyment?
Oh yeah, for teaching enjoyment, I use the theory by Mirswa. I'm sorry, ma'am. Yes, for the teaching enjoyment, I use theory by Diwale and McIntyre about foreign language enjoyment. So I use their theory in arranging the question for the questionnaire for the interview.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Firda, for the clarification. Okay, my next question, still related to the previous one, that is about the theoretical lens that you use to approach this study. And you also mentioned how you develop the research instruments based on those theories that you use. Okay, can you please now explain to me how you develop its research instrument based on its theory?
Yes, thank you for the question, ma'am. So when I developed the research instrument, there are two research instruments. The first is interview, teacher's interview, and also students questionnaire. So in the interview, I use several studies. The first is by Muslim et al. Scale. So I adapt the scale that Muslim et al. Has been developed and arrange it according to my my interview questions. And for the students questionnaire, I also use Muslim et al. Study. Muslim et al. Study also arrange questionnaire that used to find about students' motivation. So I adapt to it and also elaborate some question or select some question to be used in my instrument.
Okay, so it means that you did not develop your own instruments based on the theories, but it is more like that you adopted and adapted the research instruments used by previous researchers.
Yes, ma'am. I adapt to them, but I also add the aspect of self-determination theory, as the aspect of self-determination theory is not used in Muslim et al. Study.
Oh, okay. If so, then what kinds of indicators provided in that theory?
I'm sorry, ma'am, the indicator for self-determination theory?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So the indicator of self-determination theory, as self-determination theory propose that an individual will have a high motivation when their need of competence, relatedness, and also autonomy is met. So I use in self-determination theory, there is a study by Narendran. So it suggests some aspect of self-determination theory in the classroom that will make the students have a high level of motivation. Those are for the competence. This is the uh, provision of feedback. And for the relatedness aspect, it is the provision of group-based project. And also for the autonomy aspect in the self-determination theory, it is the provision of the giving the choice to the students in everyday classroom activity.
Okay, so basically for self-determination theory contains 3 aspects.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you mentioned those explicitly in your final project?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
mentioned that self-determination theory is contains 3 aspects. Those are competence, relatedness, and autonomy.
Okay, and then also the indicators. Sudah
Yes,
dijelaskan.
the indicators by Narendran is provided in the theoretical framework.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Firda.
You're welcome, ma'am.
And yeah, and now I'd like to continue with the findings. Okay, how did you answer the first research question?
Yeah.
What I mean is that what is the finding of the first research question?
So the finding is the research question is how teachers believe about students' learning motivation, and the research answer or the finding describe that EFL teachers of the selected school believe that students' learning motivation is in low to standard category. So in this finding, I describe the first is about aspect that teachers consider in the interview when they are asked about how is students' learning motivation. This aspect is students' behavior, students' competence in the classroom or students' achievement, their material mastery, their grade, and also their behavior.
Okay, thank you. Did you also explore the root cause? The root cause or the cause or the factors affecting the students' low motivation?
Yeah, so I asked about why they describe that the students' motivation is in low category. So the teachers describe that it is based on students' low engagement in the classroom activity. So a few amount of students that really engage in the lesson when the teacher explained the lesson or in other classroom activity. And also the other is students achievement, which is in a low category.
Okay, yeah, thank you. What about the second finding?
Okay, so the second finding described that EFL teachers develop strategy to increase students' motivation based on their belief on students' motivation. The teachers, most of them use strategies, use or revise their strategies in teaching way, in the way of teaching. So they, for example, when after they analyze that students' learning motivation is low, they revise the way they teach. So they provide more casual way of teaching, and also provide some media in teaching, such as giving an interesting presentation and also giving games. And also there is also a teacher that use grade for to enhance students' motivation by giving grade for them who are active in class.
Do you mean a kind of reward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Firda. And lastly, what about this the third finding?
The third finding described that based on teachers' belief on students' learning motivation, it is impactful to their teaching enjoyment. So when the students are highly motivated, the teaching enjoyment is increasing. But when the students is lowly motivated, the teachers said that they have the enjoyment is decreasing.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And how did you actually answer the third research question? How?
Oh, yeah. So to answer the third research question is in the interview, I asked about the first is I asked about how is their teaching enjoyment. So the teachers have So the teachers have enjoyment in teaching, and then I asked follow-up question about does their enjoyment relate to how they believe about students' learning motivation. And they say that it is a significant aspect. Students' learning motivation is a significant aspect to their teaching enjoyment. In the class that most of the students have low motivation, teachers said that they have low motivation, low enjoyment.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So basically you use only one method, that is interview, to answer the third research question.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so I think that you need to elaborate the finding of the third research question. Why? Because it seems to me that if it is combined into one page, probably it is less than one page. Ada di 2 halaman, tapi sedikit-sedikit gitu ya. Kalau digabung jadi satu, sepertinya kurang dari 1 halaman. Ya, gitu ya,
Yes, ma'am.
Firda. So I think that you need to elaborate the third finding. Yeah. Okay. And well, I think that's all questions from me. Next suggestions, Firda. So please complete the front pages of front matters, ya. Jadi halaman depan itu belum komplit, ya. Jadi baru ada abstract, kemudian table of content, lalu chapter, gitu ya. Nah, front pages-nya kan masih banyak tuh yang harus dilengkapi ya.
Oh, yes.
Ada statement of originality, ada acknowledgement, ya macam-macam itu ya. Approval, nah belum ada approvalnya juga kayaknya ya.
Oh iya, ma'am.
Nah, kalau belum di-approve ya ini mestinya nggak bisa diujikan ini ya. Sudah di-approve apa belum ini? Kok tidak dilampirkan approvalnya?
Oh yes, ma'am.
Ya, oke, itu next adalah, nah ini ya, jadi belum memenuhi syarat minimal 60 pages untuk skripsi, baru 54 ya Firda ya. Oke,
Yes,
jadi
ma'am.
elaborasi ya, belum memenuhi syarat. Kemudian improve the references, please follow APA 7 edition ya. Kemudian untuk citasi ada beberapa itu 4 nama, 5 nama, tapi tidak menggunakan at all. Ya, masih ada beberapa ya. So please double
Yes.
check. Okay, so once again congratulations Firda.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Alif, Bu Kris, Bu Puji. Yeah, get back to you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bu Yuni. Okay, the next chance will be given to Bu Kris. Time is yours, Bu Kris.
Okay, thank you, Bu Alif. Okay, Mbak Firda, first of all, I would like to congratulate you. So finally you go through this process.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
I'm going to directly ask the questions for you and also give some suggestion. So the first things I would like to comment on your abstract, but so maybe you need to check again some spelling, just small amount of your final project report. There is still some misspelling. Go to abstract, but the last one, the last part before keywords.
The last paragraph, yes, ma'am.
Yes, the last line before the keywords. So you wrote about this one, teachers teaching action accurately.
Teachers teaching.
Have you found it? Teachers teaching action accurately.
Yes, ma'am. The last
Okay.
sentence.
Please recheck again the spelling of accurately.
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next one. Please go to your research objective on page 2.
Yes.
Yeah, right here. You wrote down this one, students learning motivation at Islamic high school.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And
I'm sorry, I haven't delayed a word in it.
yeah, so recheck again your grammar, number 1 and number 2, whether you use in or at that points. And I would like to ask you about your research questions. You investigated about teachers' belief or teachers' beliefs.
Teachers' beliefs, ma'am.
Okay, so please recheck again your research questions if you follow about teachers' beliefs, not belief.
Ma'am.
Okay, next one. Go to page 3, but the definition of key terms, especially on the part talking about, hold on. This one, teacher's belief, cited from Richardson by blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Can you find the main source of this part? But
So in this sentence, I use the journal by Falke et al. Ma'am.
okay, can you find the source from Richardson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good, thank you. Next one. Hold on. Okay, go to teaching enjoyment. Teaching enjoyment. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth line. So you mentioned right here, teaching enjoyment occurs when teachers capable of blah blah blah. So you miss the to be right there. So please recheck again. Next, go to page 11, but On page 11, hold on. So on page 11, you talk about teachers' belief on students' motivation and go to the second and also the paragraph. So you explain something related to motivation talked by Seifert and Sutton. Okay, and for the second and also the third paragraph, you mention all of the theory from those two people in the same year. I hope maybe since you only talk about just one theory from one source, it is better to use different wording to connect between the first paragraph and the second paragraph, since you talk about the same source. All right, and then
Thank you for the
Yeah.
suggestion.
yeah, pleasure. The next one, please go to chapter 3. Page 16. Recheck on how you wrote about meaningful characteristic. Maybe you miss S in this part, so it should be meaningful characteristics with S, right? And also the first line of research participants is also the same. You miss S, and the topic should agree with a plural subject.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. The next thing I would like to ask you this one. So your instrument are interview and questionnaire, right?
Yes, ma'am. Interview and
But
also questionnaire.
yeah, but I read in some part of your final project report, you also mentioned about lesson plan and also students' achievement, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you use also the teacher's lesson plan and students' achievement. Can you explain how you use those two data in your study?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. So for the lesson plan and also students' achievement analysis, I use it uh, in analyzing about students. Oh yeah, about teachers teaching strategy. So I made the result in the interview that elaborate about teacher strategy with teachers lesson plan, so that it will describe more accurately about teachers teaching action in class. And for the students achievement, I use it to give further elaboration on students achievement based on the interview answer by the teacher on elaborating students' achievement. So I compare how teachers answer about students' achievement with their achievement in the document.
So students' achievement you use for elaborating the explanation for students' motivation. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. For
Okay.
student motivation.
Okay. Why don't you include the document analysis in your instrument? Since you use lesson plan and also students' achievement, right?
Oh yeah, ma'am. So I mentioned about the document, but I forgot to write it in the research instrument part.
Okay, please add that part in
Yes.
chapter 3. Okay, the next things that I need to ask you. Okay, can you explain again the result of your findings, especially for the first team? Students' learning motivation is in a low category. When then you come up with this conclusion, mention that they are still in a low category.
Right, ma'am. So in the interview session, I asked about how teacher believe about their students' motivation. I asked for the teacher to describe the category of their student. Two of the teacher said that the category is in a low category, while one teacher said that the the category of students motivation is low to standard category, and also based on students achievement, and also the other interview answer, I conclude that students motivation is in a low category based on teachers belief.
Based on teachers' belief. And you so you use also questionnaire to reject the teacher's answer, right? I saw that the result of the questionnaire related to students' motivation are high, right? And how then you relate the result of the interview with the questionnaire?
So I mentioned in the research finding that students' motivation is instrumental and also integrative. However, their classroom performance, especially engagement, is in low category. So the students have the idealism of how to learn English, how their motivation should be, but their performance is still low.
Okay. So you relate their motivation with their achievement, right? Okay.
Yes,
They believe that their motivation is high, but the result of their achievement did not say the same thing. Something like that.
Yes, and also in the questionnaire, also I asked about students' belief about their material mastery. Most of them say that they have low mastery of material.
Okay. So it is related to achievement, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So maybe my additional suggestion for you for each team of your findings, I hope that you can provide a short summary in the end of each team. For example, the first team you have students' learning motivation is in a low category, and in the end, please summarize your findings.
Yes, all right, ma'am.
Okay. And maybe the next questions, can you explain what's the difference of your findings with previous research?
Yes. So my finding, the highlight of my finding is similar to the study by Muslim et al., which also finds that even though students show positive integrative and instrumental motivation, their performance is also in a low category. And however, the study is not similar to the study by I'm sorry, ma'am. Yeah, so this study is not similar with the study by Martin, which show that students' motivation is in a suitable category or in a good category.
Okay, how about the other findings?
The other finding is by Bakar, which also show that students' motivation is high. And also by Ja'far et al., which also show that even though 100 until 40% of students show low motivation, the other students show that their motivation is high.
Okay, how about the teachers' strategies to enhance students' motivation? Did your findings also have similar result like previous studies?
Yes. So as in this aspect, I use theory by Cheng and Dorni's motivational teaching strategies. I found that the strategies that teacher provide is similar to their study, their theory. It is most especially the teaching strategy that focus on creating pleasant classroom environment, promoting relatedness, and also stimulating group-based project.
Okay, well done. Okay, so the next, maybe this one is the last suggestion from me. You can go to references part, so I hope that you can refer to the latest referencing style, APA 7 edition, especially on how you wrote about the title of the article and also books. It should be sentence case,
Oh,
not
yes.
capital each word, not like that, but sentence case. Please recheck again your references. I also found you wrote the title in all capitalized. Please recheck again. And somehow there is also some missing part related to the article, like you have the author, the years, and the title, but there is no information about the journal, the volume,
Yes,
and so on. Okay.
all right, ma'am.
Yeah, maybe that's all from me. You have a really comprehensive study, Mbak. Good job.
Thank
Once
you very
again,
much, ma'am.
congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, that's all from me, Bu Alif. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Here, I think Bu Puji cannot talk. Maybe Firda, you can read Bu Puji's message on the chat.
All right, ma'am.
Firda, Bu Yuni, are you around? Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Do you want to have like a short discussion first with the Board of Examiners before we make decision? And ask again for a while?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, Mbak Firda, please leave Zoom for a while and please stand by and we'll call you soon.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. Sebentar, ma'am. Saya copy ini dulu ya, ma'am.